Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Salam IPG, peneraju kecemerlangan pendidikan guru. Selama 2 hari ini kita telah sama-sama saksikan dan dengarkan fikrah minda dan jujur idea daripada para pembentang seluruh negara, bahkan dari negara jiran kita, Indonesia. Semoga dengan segala perkongsian ilmu melalui penyelidikan ini, kita dapat membuat anjakan progresif dan efektif dalam menerajui pendidikan negara kita. Sidang hadirin warga maya sekalian, atur cara kita pada pagi ini diteruskan dengan ucap tama yang kedua. Ucap tama ini akan disampaikan oleh Yang Berusaha Dr. Gerturude Jock, Pengarah Institut Pendidikan Guru Kampus Gaya. Untuk itu, majlis mempersilakan moderator yang akan mengendalikan sesi ucap tama ini, Yang Berusaha Dr. Muhammad Hanif Hassan. Silakan, Doktor.
Terima kasih pengerusi majlis. Kalimah suci Bismillahirrahmanirrahim sebagai pembuka awal bicara. Selawat dan salam ke atas junjungan Nabi Muhammad SAW dan para sahabat. Syukur kita kepada Allah SWT kerana dengan limpah dan kurnianya kita masih lagi dapat bersama-sama di dalam satu seminar penyelidikan pendidikan peringkat kebangsaan Zon Sabah 2022. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, pada hari ini kita akan mendengar seterusnya ucap utama daripada seorang tokoh pendidikan yang dikenali, iaitu Dr. Gerturude Jock, iaitu Pengarah Institut Pendidikan Guru Kampus Gaya dengan tajuknya iaitu Order Passion. Sebelum kita mempersilakan beliau untuk menyampaikan ucapannya, eloklah saya menjelaskan biodata secara ringkas Dr. Gerturude. Yang berbahagia, Dr. Gerturude Jock adalah merupakan pengarah di Institut Pendidikan Guru Kampus Gaya, Kota Keningau, Sabah. Beliau telah berpengalaman bekerja selama 33 tahun dan pernah bertugas sebagai pendidik di 3 daerah di negeri Sabah, iaitu di Lahad Datu, Papar dan juga Kota Keningau. Sejarah kepimpinan beliau di sekolah adalah termasuk sebagai pengetua cemerlang di Sekolah Menengah Saint Joseph Papar dan Sekolah Menengah Stella Maris. Sebelum itu beliau bertugas sebagai pensyarah di Maktab Perguruan Gaya dan sebagai guru bahasa Inggeris di Sekolah Menengah Berasrama Penuh Lahad Datu. Seterusnya, yang berbahagia, Dr. Gerturude telah memegang ijazah Dr. Falsafah dalam pengurusan pendidikan yang diperolehi daripada Open University Malaysia (OUM), ijazah daripada University Exeter Plywood United Kingdom dalam pelatihan guru untuk pengajaran bahasa Inggeris dan ijazah sarjana muda dalam pengajaran bahasa Inggeris sebagai bahasa kedua iaitu TESOL daripada University Canterbury, United Kingdom. Beliau merupakan penyelidikan telah membuat yang terkini iaitu dalam PLC, kejurulatihan, pementoran, transformasi kepimpinan, hikmat masyarakat komuniti dan perkembangan guru. Beliau juga telah membentang ketah kajian beliau di peringkat kebangsaan dan juga antarabangsa. Program hikmat masyarakat beliau adalah termasuk merangka modul latihan untuk Yayasan Pendidikan Indep, sukarelawan sebagai Olimpik Istimewa Sabah dan beberapa lagi organisasi kemanusiaan. Tuan-tuan, puan-puan, para hadirin yang dihormati sekalian, eloklah tokoh yang akan bersama dengan kita memang selayaknya untuk membentangkan kertas iaitu Order Passion. Jadi dengan segala hormatnya saya mempersilakan yang berbahagia Dr. Gerturude Jock, itu Pengarah Institut Pendidikan Guru Kampus Gaya, Kota Keningau. Dipersilakan yang berbahagia, Doktor.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in our SepZon National Seminar on Research for this year, 2022. Solutions through research is the theme of our seminar for this year. And so this is most apt because in today's re-emphasis of learner-centered approach, educators, namely teachers and lecturers, have the fundamental task of finding the most appropriate pedagogical approach to the teaching and learning plans. And therefore, the current focus on digitalization of learning, both creative and innovative, becomes a priority in any learning agenda. Teachers are encouraged to look into their practices so as to find the solutions they need in addressing issues in learning and teaching. Similarly, it is part and parcel of the lecturer's task and their huge responsibilities to undertake research and innovation to ensure training teachers are inducted into the process of investigating into their classroom practices. As an experienced classroom practitioner and in leading instructional leadership, I propose a back-to-basic emphasis on an educator's role in meeting the demands of transferring knowledge and inspiring innovation through research via order, passion. If you love your food, you will go for the best lasagna, the aromatic asam laksa, the rich udang, or the fresh sushi. Then you would want to complement this food with some light tea, some coffee, or piping hot cafe latte. What's interesting is you would think about going for the most delicious, the most scrumptious, and therefore, as educators, we too should order passion. Let's look at these words closely. Each letter in the two words actually means something. Now let's begin with order. The first letter, O. Observe. Observe what happens around us. Just scan the environment and have a mental picture. So if you need to revisit that moment, you will be able to recapture the happenings in that picture, in that small frame of time that you have. You may say, it's difficult to see, I have too many students, and I was thinking of my house. The roofing has to be repaired. Yes, we are not robots, and yes, we have 1,000,000 worries. This is where I say, focus. Focus on what needs to be done. Focus on the job at hand. First, separate work and personal life and choose. Find Jiminy Cricket. Choose an area of your lesson or activity or student to zoom into. This will help direct you into your observation skill. Have a checklist or a memoing template to help you jot down interesting, puzzling, or a wow moment. If you can do this, then mission accomplished. You have observed the things that you want to record. So you move on to the second letter in order, R, for record. Now, recording or writing down significant moments can be challenging. If you are confident, you can invite a colleague to help observe and note down the focus of your attention. You can also decide to videotape your session. So opening up your session to others out there, to your colleagues, to everyone who is interested in joining your lesson is something special, something challenging, but not impossible. You can do it. Now, videotaping is one of the best ways to provide evidence. You will not lose any event that happened except for your internal voice at that moment. So your memory will still be required to recall such moments. Another challenge is, of course, thinking that you have all the time in the world to interpret the data. So ensure you are disciplined, set your schedule, and process your data as soon as you can. Otherwise, you have a tremendous task ahead. Once you have completed the observation phase, proceed to deliver. Now, deliver your message or your lesson. Of course, planning your lesson is another process that you need to get right. Let's leave this for the time being. How you deliver or your delivery method really rests on your context, the objectives, your students' interests and abilities, the available resources at hand, and the happenings around the period of existence. For example, what's trending in the world around us, with news from social media such as "it's not if but when recession will set in," or in the current emergency alert on the volatile weather that we have that has wreaked havoc in many countries with flood and damage to property and loss of lives and livelihood. What can we say? We must always bring in the real world into our classroom. We cannot plan devoid of real world events, but keep it to what can be received by the mental or emotional readiness of our students. This is another key factor that seems to be forgotten at times. You can decide to work on students' interests, but just remember your objectives. And never be fooled by thinking that students do not read. They do read. And they read every time and every day because they have the gadget at hand, especially from the social media. And you will be surprised when students share news faster than the grapevine. News travel real fast these days among them, and they share information faster than the bullet train. Remember, at the end of the day, the student's success will bring huge celebration to everyone. Now, let's move on to the fourth letter of order, E. Engage. Engage students' culture, their participation and values to be highlighted. When you engage their attention and just bring them joy, be part of their learning interests, and they will just give their all to you. They will be part of the whole process of learning, and you will have won them over. And this is what they actually need from us. Let them be actively engaged in the learning process, because after all, they are the outcome of our training. And what is the product that you want out of them? Definitely you want the most, the best out of them, because they need to be the leaders, the future leaders of our nation, and also for the world out there. And it is not just your lesson that will be engaging, but you can engage feedback or responses by inserting little areas where they can give feedback to you personally or in written form. Invite their honest opinion, their responses, because this is what is important in the teaching and learning process. And if you really open your doors to them, they will give you wonderful feedback that can actually help you improve your learning and teaching methods. Now, you will be surprised with the insights from their honest feedback. Sometimes these written entries can be your whole focus for your research. And this brings me to the last letter, R, for reflect. Reflection is such a beautiful, mind-opening process. It can be a way into putting order to the massive data that you have in hand. You can reflect in action or on action as SHE 1983 has introduced. Be conscious with your actions and reflections, because these will help you improve your practice or help you discover new learning, new theories that can enhance any learning process. What is the difference between inaction and on action? Well, right now, when I am presenting to you order, passion, I will also be thinking about the whole process. When you have a focus, then you will be directed in your reflection. And yes, when I would be wondering when it's in action now, while I'm talking, I'm thinking as well. So am I doing the right thing? And if I can record what's happening in my brain, wouldn't that be wonderful? But definitely, I can't do that. But when you reflect on action, then you'll be thinking about what has happened after this in an hour's time or tomorrow. I'll be thinking about the whole process of recording this message to you. And so I will be thinking about how well I can improve on it in future. So order is the first word in my theme for you today, which is order, passion. Get into the habit and always order your thoughts, your actions, your plans. Now let's move on to the next word, passion. Now this is a word that I hold dear to my heart, because it not only tells you about the passions that we have for many interesting activities out there, for example, esports or word games. Actually, I am now interested in Wordle and also spelling bee. These can be found in apps that are free, available to one and all. So yes, I am interested in this, and this is my passion, which is looking into word games. And some of you might be interested in physical activity, for example, physical games like hiking. Mountain hiking would be the best, mountain abalo would be the best, and canoeing or eating itself. Now, how did you get hooked? Do you remember? It must be because you get an adrenaline rush each time you get yourself involved. It gets you excited to move on to the next level because you want to achieve success, and it boosts your confidence. You have every right to your passion, what you love to do and what thrills you. Now, I invite you on another journey with passion. This will help to maintain a goal and to achieve what you set out to do. Let's start with the first letter in passion, P, prepare. Whatever you are doing or planning, you need to prepare. Prepare your lesson, your talks, your involvement, your attire. Everything needs to be prepared mentally. Be clear in your mind's eye. Have a mental picture of what you're going to do. I assure you, you will reap the benefits of your labor. I strongly believe in this, and it works. Really, it works. Oftentimes, when students present their plans to me, I will ask them, can you picture it in your mind? If it's a lesson plan, what are your students doing at that moment? And any laughter? When? How? Why? Preparing for every step that you take means that you are conscious of your action, your objectives, and your preemptive measures for any eventuality. You cannot predict the outcome, of course, but you can prepare for it. This is what will make a great teacher. Your mental readiness, which is also related to students' readiness. Always get them ready. Only then will they be able to receive your message. Students' readiness is a definite must. When you prepare, that means you will also think of students' contribution to the whole plan. which means that you will plan to get them actively engaged, communicating their opinion, collaborating with one another, creative and critical thinking, as well as involving good character and citizenship. That's the 6 C's of the 21st century competencies. New pedagogy for deep learning, as Greenhill 2010, Fullen 2014, and other experts in the field have promoted. Most recent, Stauffer 2022 added information literacy, media literacy, flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. All these skills and competencies are actually in demand, and they are to help prepare students to meet the demand of today's modern markets. In this age of the internet, the world becomes small, and the workplace can be invading your home space. So prepare for the bigger picture. If you are mentally, physically, and your competencies are in check, then adore your time together with your students. Every second, every minute, every hour, when you can adore your time together, no matter who it will be, if it's your students, your colleagues, your stakeholders, just have fun. Laugh and just let your head down. The work is stressful enough for any of us to bear any grudge or pick a bone with anyone. Don't sweat the small stuff. So they say, why is this important? Students have so much to take in: the content knowledge, the inner youth or personal battle they have, peer or family pressure, and the like. So we as educators must step up and create any opportunity we have to laugh and joke at what is shared. Nothing personal, but just a whole lot of fun. Unfortunately, in many classes, this is the tragic missing element to the teaching and learning process. Laughter is the best medicine. It is also a trigger to short-term memory. Do you know that? Google it, because healthguide.com says that it is true. You can learn how to harness the powerful benefits of laughter and humor, and this improves your mental health and your physical health as well. So laugh, people, and put it into your lessons. In adoring your time together, you must then share experiences. I remember how students' eyes will light up and they will really participate by asking more questions as to what next, why, how, can I do that? So if you can capture that interest through adoring your time together, therefore sharing your experiences is also key towards getting them into the lesson, getting them into learning the whole process of whatever you want them to learn. So their eagerness to know what happens next through their questions are positive vibes that you need in your lesson. I remember way back when I was with an eager bunch of young teenagers. I was sharing with them about seeing the world, about the fact that my family don't send me any money when I was studying because they don't have any money. So what did I do? I took extra work. Then it was okay because they employ many foreigners in this field that I was doing. And so I did have that extra money to go into railing. Just imagine sharing the time of your life with your students, telling them that you can do it no matter what, opening their minds to all possibility. Isn't that the task of an educator? So when I shared, I said, I worked and I must know how to ensure that I divide my time wisely so that I can also study at the same time, because that is my responsibility. But I wanted to have that extra money so that I can make that phone call home in the dark, cold winter nights. And so I shared with them moments in my life, and I also shared happy moments whereby I could travel to Greece. Isn't that wonderful? To Greece, and we had a group of us, we had to sleep on deck, a ship. And by morning when we got up, we were soaking wet. We didn't know that everybody else left that part of the deck. And so it wasn't that interesting for them. To them, it's something real and something fun. And it actually happened to the teacher, and the possibility of happening to them. Wow, that is the power that a teacher has on their students. And so recently, I have another story whereby I actually shared this with my training teachers a month back. You know, I always have this fear of safety, and so when I saw a group of these students who were helping out in transporting desks and chairs on top of a truck, and so they were having the time of their life actually, with the wind blowing on their faces. And so when I saw them, when they got down, and I called them, a group of them, and I said, "Have you heard the story of this teenage boy in a district in Sabah?" And they say, "Of course not. Do you want to hear the story?" And so it began, and I told them, there was this young boy, he wanted to help his teacher who was getting married. And so they were busy preparing over the weekend. And so they transported chairs on top of a truck, just like the truck that they were on. They transported the truck to the hall. And on their journey, it was a busy road. And suddenly, the truck stopped. And what do you think happened to the boy? And at that moment, the person driving that truck suddenly realized that he had lost the boy, who fell back onto the road into the oncoming car. And that was a life lost. And so, what was the message to my training teachers? And they were shocked, and they were really afraid at that moment, because it could have happened to them. And so this is why an educator's role is so important. At the back of your mind, you're always thinking how best to protect your students, how best to teach them. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I mean by sharing experiences. And this is the secret ingredient. Stories that are real, personalized, and they touch a chord in your heart. They heard it for themselves. And so it's actually authentic materials. So how can you say that you don't have the time? That you have so much to teach, that learning from life, real life experiences is teaching as well. So don't forget stories. Real life stories are the best teaching material that you can have. And remember, also ask stories from your students, because their experiences can amaze you as well. So how wonderful, how sad, or how amazing, or how challenging the stories could be can actually inspire your class. Remember, in this VUCA world, we need all the sharing that we can get, because after all, life is most important. And teenage life, or the young ones, or the young adults, the seniors, so every life is important. So whatever experiences you share, make it meaningful. Those were just a little insight into my world. Now let's visit the next S. Shower with rewards. Shower your students with whatever they need. It can be a little gift, or it can be a word that saying thank you, or you did a wonderful job. It's something simple that can really make them happy. No matter how young or how senior they are, rewards are the best thing that can happen to them. Gifts from the heart are the best of all. And you do not need to spend a whole lot of money on the gifts, but tap into your own talents, into your own skills, or whatever is available. You can write poetry, or you can paint a picture. The most important thing is that you give it to them. And coming from you, their teacher, they would appreciate it more. And I remember this lecturer, once upon a time, he was carrying a bag, and it's a bag of goodies, and in that bag, it could be a sachet of sugar, it could be a sachet of tomato ketchup, or it could be a book that he has read so many times, and he gave it out anytime, and he says, this is very important. Give soft love. After all, you will never know the impact of your gift to that one child or person who needed it most at that point in time. So brighten someone's day by giving them a gift of your love, your appreciation, your gratitude. Now this brings me to the next letter, I for interact. Interact with everyone. This is a must of yours. You need to interact with everyone. Yes, some of you will say, I am an introvert. I am shy. I cannot do this in a class of 55. And so the excuses will pile up. But seriously, interact with everyone. And you can do this by ensuring they answer you with a raised hands or a muffled acknowledgement of whatever question you ask them. It's okay. You can interact with everyone by planning it into your lesson or into the purpose of your activities, your walkabout. That can also be a way of interacting with everyone. Within the confines of your class, you can actually reach out to each and every one of your students, and in turn, you can get them to reach out to their classmates. So this is the beauty of cascading your message from one to the other, because it transcends to everyone at the end of the day. You must want it, you must will it to happen, and it will if you plan for it. So prepare well and share your messages, and also remember, appreciate them. Now let's move on to the next letter, which is O. Optimize your students' abilities. In teaching and in training, we are no longer the sage upon the stage. Our students have better skills and competencies than us. Admit it, accept it. This is a new world, you cannot get away from it. This is the 21st century, and we have to move with the current trends. We cannot be using our old materials and our old slides to capture our students' hearts and minds. Use technology to enliven your lessons and materials. Refer to the experts in your institution or school. Ask for help and learn. Jazz up your presentation and get your students to help you. TikTok is trending, and our students are they are at the forefront of anything new. And so optimize their talents and skills. Let me share with you my own misgivings, especially when it involves new and expensive equipment. And when I say optimize your students' talents or abilities, here I have a beautiful hall with new setup for the technician, with lightings and sound system that is seriously wonderful. And so I only have a few support staff who can man this new technical equipment. And so there's no choice but to depend on the students, and the students are so skillful. They will put in their time and effort to learn how to operate, and you have to trust them because you need them. And because of that, because of my openness and willingness to allow them to expand their abilities and to share what their knowledge with everyone, we had a beautiful presentation of Aladdin, the musical, a few days ago. And so this is what we need to do. Do not be afraid. Optimize students' talents and skills. That's I have to learn to let go of my doubts and my fears, which brings me to the last letter, N. Nurture everyone's learning, including your own. Okay, the catchphrase, lifelong learning. What does this mean to you? How do you maintain your own learning to keep abreast with the trends in education or the world's news? We read, we listen, but most effective is when we participate actively. And so, when we participate actively, I would like to bring you back to professional learning community. Now we need to be professionally informed, and we cannot depend on our own self because we need the help from others. And we have been trained. In Malaysia, we have been exposed to professional learning communities through strategies that there are 5 strategies, and in each strategy there are tools that can help us. Then the tools are actually what we have used in our practice. And so why don't we go back to them? And I hope that if you have not used these tools and these strategies, go back to them. Because like I said, back to basic. You have done it, you know them, but are you actually practicing them? Put them back into your daily communication with your colleagues. Bring it into your practice, and I am sure that when we talk about scholarly teachers, scholarly activities, these are our tools. And we have gone through this. Yeah? We have gone through the fact that from SONJ, the learning organization, from Vygotsky looking at transactional learning theories, and we have gone through Burns for transformational leadership. We know that the theories are out there, but can we put them into our practice? Can we adopt PLC strategies? Because the impact is huge. Yes, we know that PLC is vibrant and it's constantly evolving. That's part of a teacher's life as well. That's part of the education field. There's nothing is constant but change. Right? And so looking at our roles as educator, we need to accept the fact that we are the gatekeepers of change. So we need to move with the current trends, and we need to accept our responsibilities. And through this, we can focus back into ensuring that we look into research. This is the theme, right? That we are looking into going through research, and this seminar is what we need to ensure that we continue to learn new things. And so go back to professional learning community, because I believe that the researchers out there, the studies out there, there are many and they are multiple, and we know that they are there, and so we can look into this. Because if you are looking for what to write and what to research into, our professional journey is one aspect that we can look into. Yeah, so these are some of the examples of research done by others in the field, and so I hope that one day your name will be up there too. So in conclusion, when we put order and passion and PLC together, what do we have? I believe what we have is a synergized professional community, and that is what we need to actually focus on. We need to turn research PLC into a culture that we continuously improved. And so yes, we encourage you to continue to do research, and Other Passion aims to be a reminder to everyone who touches the lives of students. Always seek to be creative, responsive, engaging, articulate, thoughtful, innovative, value knowledge and enthusiasm, including your very own you, the teacher. So Other Passion plus PLC will bring about a new synergy of professional learning and contributions. Thus, I have served you a manual of Other Passion, an educator's guide served with what is currently carried out in daily routine. Will not add any burden to the mountain of duties that you have, rather help to remind educators that the solutions to their commitment, the solutions to their learning and teaching challenges are actually can be found within the palm of their hands, because you have the answer, you have the talents, you have the skills. So remember, it begins with you. Other Passion. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah, ya, syukur kita telah selesai daripada pembentangan iaitu yang bertajuk Other Passion, dan kita sangat bertuah ya dapat menikmati hasil buah fikiran yang begitu jitu daripada tokoh pendidikan yang selayaknya untuk berkongsi ilmu bersama-sama kita pada hari ini. Terima kasih yang berbahagia Dr. Gerturude, satu ucapan yang penuh padat dengan ilmu ya. Kita amat tertarik dengan ucapan beliau tadi. Betullah apa yang telah disampaikan, iaitu menjadi tanggungjawab pendidik, khususnya guru-guru dan juga pensyarah, untuk menjalankan kajian bagi mencari penyelesaian terhadap isu-isu yang dihadapi semasa pengajaran dan pembelajaran berlaku di dalam dan juga luar kelas. Pada masa yang sama, ia juga membantu untuk mempraktiskan pengajaran di dalam kelas. Saya sungguh tertarik ya saranan yang telah diserahkan oleh yang berbahagia Dr. Gerturude untuk kembali kepada teori-teori asas yang menjadi tunjang dalam kebanyakan teori-teori dan pendekatan masa kini. Dalam masa yang sama, kita harus menjalankan kajian dan juga untuk mengamalkan teori-teori asas tersebut. Dr. Gerturude juga telah memperkenalkan satu pendekatan yang dipanggil sebagai Other Passion. Satu akronim ya yang begitu menarik ya untuk kita hayati bersama, dengan setiap satunya memberi makna yang padat. Seperti O ialah sebagai observe ataupun observation, R sebagai record yang merekodkan segala aktiviti-aktiviti, D deliver iaitu cara penyampaian dan juga kaedah-kaedah serta kesan-kesan terhadap penyampaian maklumat kepada pendengar. E sebagai engage, R sebagai reflect, P sebagai prepare ataupun lesson ya, lesson plan, A sebagai adult, menyayangi masa anda dengan pelajar-pelajar ya bersama dengan kita, S sebagai share, kongsi, berkongsi, S shower with rewards, I sebagai interact with everyone, O optimize your student abilities, N sebagai nurture everyone learning. So setiap satu daripada akronim-akronim itu memberi makna yang begitu hebat yang perlu kita hayati. Mudah-mudahan apa yang telah disampaikan memberi manfaat kepada semua para pendengar yang ada bersama dengan kita pada hari ini. Sebagai kesimpulannya, Other Passion akan melibatkan guru-guru dalam PLC dalam satu community ya, profesional yang sinergi yang dapat kita akan cipta di kalangan warga pendidik, khususnya pada era ini. Kita harus memudayakan kajian dan PLC, dan budaya ini seharusnya sentiasa dikembang dan ditambah baik daripada semasa ke semasa. kita sangat bertuah dan sangat seronok untuk menikmati apa yang telah disampaikan, dan akhirnya sudah sampai masanya untuk kita berpisah, bukan kerana masa yang mencemburui, tetapi kerana kita leka menikmati hidangan ilmu yang telah dihidangkan oleh yang berbahagia Dr. Gerturude Jock sebentar tadi. Jadi dengan itu saya rasa kita pun tidak ada untuk bersoal jawab kerana masa telah terhad, ya. Jadi saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada semua para pendengar yang ada bersama dengan kita dalam seminar penyelidikan pendidikan kebangsaan peringkat kebangsaan Zon Sabah 2022. Sekian dan terima kasih. Saya pulangkan kembali kepada pengerusi majlis.
Majlis merakamkan ucapan terima kasih kepada yang berusaha Dr. Gerturude Jock dan yang berusaha Dr. Muhammad Hanif Hassan selaku moderator yang mengendalikan sesi UCAPTAMA sebentar tadi. Hadirin hadirat yang dihormati sekalian, semoga UCAPTAMA yang berkisarkan order passion itu tadi dapat memberikan panduan kepada kita sebagai pendidik dan penyelidik dalam era dunia pendidikan yang penuh kompetitif dan progresif ini. Hadirin warga maya sekalian, seminar kita akan berhenti rehat seketika. Majlis perasmian penutupan akan berlangsung pada pukul 2 petang ini. Semua hadirin dipohon untuk bersama-sama menghadiri majlis penutupan ini secara maya pada petang nanti. Sehingga berjumpa lagi, sekian wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.